What's up, guys? Hopefully you had a good discussion. I'll be quick here because it kind of ties in nicely. But you know, the same reason that some of us may have used chemicals or substances to enhance our performances socially or scholastically or whatever it was on the outside, you know, there's a lot of people that'll do the same thing for their physical performance. We're in the season of the CrossFit Open right now, and you know, people are competing to see how their training is going, to see how their nutrition is going. One of the things I loved about CrossFit originally was the purity of it. You know, the purpose of CrossFit was to help us to reach our genetic potentials physically. What are we capable of? If we eat right and we train hard, you know, what are we able to do? And it's a tough process. And what's really hard is when you do find your limits, say like your strength limit or your endurance limit, is having to be okay with that, you know. Now there's some people who aren't okay with that, and so they go out and find chemicals or substances that help them to go above and beyond their natural sort of, I guess you could say, God-given abilities. And you know, it's kind of the same thing. You know, eventually it'll bite you in the ass. It's not sustainable. It does damage to you, and it's not real, you know. And ultimately, the same thing that leads us or tempts us to maybe enhance our performance physically is really the same thing that I was talking about in the first video. You know, it's a lack of acceptance. You know, when I get to the end of my abilities, or what I feel like are the end of my abilities, or for many of us, it's just the end of what comes easily or what comes naturally, then we get tempted to start trying to find the easy route. We get tempted to start trying to find a chemical or some kind of substance that's going to do for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. You know, not only to tie in with the lack of acceptance and how it's only through acceptance that we can start to make progress, but it's also this understanding, you know, this idea of higher power. You know, I have trouble with that sometimes, just what that means. But when I realized that I was using alcohol as a higher power, I would reach out to alcohol and I would use alcohol to enable me to do what I couldn't do myself. You know, and in a way I understand that. And now, you know, I have some alternatives when it comes to finding the end of myself. You know, when it comes to finding my weaknesses or realizing that I'm having trouble motivating myself or getting myself to do things that I know I should do, but I really don't want to do or want to work toward. I have some options. I have some other things I can reach out to that can give me the strength to do those things. So you guys have double under, sit-ups, and deadlifts today. Enjoy your workout. And also for the SobrietyWoD, you know, just this idea of not being so consumed with ourselves and our own performance, which is another thing that tempts us to look into alternatives. But spend some time today, this week, and celebrate somebody else's performance. Celebrate someone else's victory. Stay after and cheer for the guys that are finishing up. Hope y'all have a great week, and hope to see you next week.